Hello, and welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now, and today it's my pleasure to speak with Rakesh Kumar. Rakesh is the Sales and Business Development Director for WindSource Electronics. WindSource, of course, is one of the largest global electronic component distributors, I think currently ranked number 16 on the top 50 list. Based out of Asia. I think they also bill themselves as having the largest online electronic component store in Asia. So been looking forward to this conversation because, of course, Rakesh is in a very hot area within the electronics manufacturing industry these days. You know, India has become quite the story of the last few years. And so I'm glad for the opportunity here. Rakesh, thank you for speaking with me today. I've been looking forward to this. Why don't we begin? Let me just allow you to introduce yourself and your background in the industry and tell us what your responsibilities are there at WindSource.
First of all, thank you, Eric, for this opportunity to speak me about, about the WindSource and the industry and my experience to share with you and your audience. So I have a total 15 years of experience in approx 15 years in semiconductor industry, and then I worked with the companies authorized and independent distributor both. And currently, I'm working as a director for India location. So I took care of, I take basically, sales activities, purchasing activities. Apart from that, I involve in the hiring of the new candidates and training, and then every operations I take care of India. So basically in India we started the operation in month of March, and then we started the office in month of July over here, and we have a couple of employees over here in India who take care of India sales and purchasing. So we are doing very good in India recently. We have a, if we see the historical data of the WindSource, so we have approx a lot of customers in India. So we have a very good customer base. And once we started in India, and then, we are very much connected with these customers, and then we are talking with them and we try to establish the relationship. So we already are doing good. Till now, we started the operation, and then everything is going good.
Good. So previous to starting the office, it was just serviced out of your other locations in Asia, the customers in India.
So basically, we earlier, catering the customers from China. From there, the salesperson take care. So once we started the office in India, so for the Indian customers, we start talking with them and then working on the orders. And then, if they have any kind of issues related to any queries, we try to solve them, and then we try to give maximum support from India location.
Good. And that makes sense because India certainly is a growing in popularity would be an understatement, but it has become quite a story for electronics manufacturing with more companies and more development within that country, which is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I really wanted to it's always good to talk to people on the ground who are dealing with this. Let's start kind of big picture. What do you see as kind of the main industry trends that you're currently seeing within India?
So, if we see the current trends in India, it's like a lot of industries are booming up. And then, if you see the automotive segment, so there right now, EV is there. So for EV, we are very much, India is into the EV sector. So there we are doing the R&D, and we already have a, mass production of two-wheelers, and for four-wheelers is also happening over in India. So right now in EVs, there will be a lot of players in India, and government is also supporting to the companies which are into the EV manufacturing. They are giving a special kind of electronics manufacturing clusters where the companies are putting their set up their factories, and then they are getting certain kind of incentive from the government, that is called PLI schemes are there from the government side, where the it's called production linked incentive, or they are giving some kind of tax benefit or some kind of like benefit in terms of taxes or any other way they are giving to the manufacturing companies which are doing in the EV sector. So apart from EV in automotive, you can see the lot of driver assistance kind of things like advanced driver assistant ADAS is
Hmm.
coming up, where the like a lot of cars coming with a lot of features now. And so right now infotainment is there in the automotive, so where a lot of components are going inside this automotive infotainment or connectivity way, we are putting a lot of components over there. So in automotive, the sector is really very growing, and it's a very for automotive, it's a very bright future. In 2024 and in 2025, we are seeing a lot of development is happening in the automotive segment.
Okay.
Apart from automotive, we are doing very good in 5G, where like communication and telecommunication. So a lot of companies are coming with the new telecommunication equipment devices. If you see the buzzword of AI, so with the AI also, there is a lot of things are coming up now while in communication and in networking devices.
Mhm.
And apart from networking in consumer electronics side, there will be a lot of IoT devices, or you can say home automation tools, or like there will be a smart technology devices are coming up in the consumer electronics segment side.
Mhm.
Apart from consumer electronics, there will be in uh, this smart cameras, because government is focusing on the smart infrastructure and smart city. So if we start focusing on smart cities and smart infrastructure, we need like access control systems. So apart from access control, you need a smart cameras. So recently there will be a lot of development in the smart cameras area. So we can see a lot of AI chip oriented companies. They are investing a lot in the chip called AI integrated chip, and it's going in the smart cameras. So there will be a lot of companies are coming with that product. So there will be a lot of change in the product what we see now and we see 5 years back,
Yeah.
compared to you can see in the like areas like security devices and small access control devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And that's interesting because, as you're indicating, there's incentives from the government, obviously, for these various sectors to do that. Is that primarily for domestic consumption too of these products, or is there a fair amount that's being exported out of India as well?
so as a India, if you see the demand, there will be huge demand from the domestic market.
Yeah.
Apart from domestic, we are shipping to other countries also, like export is going on. So right now, if you see the like the data of the India export to other countries, it's increased significantly. And then if you see the domestic consumption also, it's improved a lot, because now if you see the Indian population, it's like people are investing a lot of on the technology side. People used to buy the the things which are highly modern things they want to buy. They want to buy the things which are like technology oriented. So if you see the example of smartphone, right? Because if you see like if any change in the phone, if any new phone is launched, so there will be a high demand coming from the local people in India, and then they start buying the iPhone. If you see, so if you see that the in India is the second largest manufacturers of the smartphone. So in India, like if you see in the current news also, there will be a lot of companies are coming to India for the like manufacturing of the phone. Either you talk about iPhone or other phone manufacturing is happening in India.
Mhm.
So there will be a domestic demand also coming in a big way. Apart from domestic demand, there will be a, like a product is exporting from here to other countries also.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that, the overview of the different sectors. And I'm glad you mentioned the smartphones there at the end, because that, of course, is the big headlines everybody follows with, where You know, when Apple goes somewhere, right, it's big news, and they have made a big investment and a big move into India in support of that with their partners. And but I bet that also strengthens and elevates the whole ecosystem around it, which is to the benefit of India, right?
Yes, because the way, if the companies are coming to India and they start doing the manufacturing, it's create a local job over in India, and then it's create, infrastructure in India, where like it's create a proper production ecosystem, so that apart from because if any industry come to India for the production, apart from that company, there will be a lot of supporting companies also coming in and around, and they set up their office over there and manufacturing plant over there. So by that way, we can see a significant growth in terms of like production activities. Either it's the main OEM, and either it's a supporting companies which are supporting to the OEMs in a lot of way, by assembly the product, or by supplying to certain either ICs they are supplying, or any passive components, or any kind of sensor they are supplying. So recently in the news, like I see where one company set up in India, and they set up a sensor manufacturing plant.
Mm.
So they want to support their customer locally in India, and that customer don't want to import that from other country. So that company requested them to come to India and put the manufacturing plant over here, and then they put the manufacturing plant, and they started like supporting that customer locally in India.
Okay.
So once any yes,
No, go ahead, finish.
so once any company comes to India with the manufacturing facility, so it's attract a lot of other companies also to support them.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I wanted to ask you about one of the issues that's kind of been a plague the industry, the EMS industry especially, has been that of inventory overhang over the last few years with what has happened. We don't have to get into why it happened, but it did happen, and it had, in many ways, a detrimental impact on the EMS industries, who all of a sudden were burdened with this inventory overhang. How do you see the current state of that? How is that in India these days?
So if you see the 2023 and half of 2024, so a lot of companies have a excess inventory, and the excess inventory is the biggest problem for 1.5 year, 1.5 year, and then many companies are trying to get rid of that particular stock. So, but recently we are seeing the trend where the market is on growth, and if we see the data of May month, where 4% increase in the demand for the semiconductor. So if we see the data of the May, there will be a 49, I think, $1 billion sale for the semiconductor. And if we see the data of April, so there will be a close to a $47 billion sales for the semiconductor. So there will be slightly improvement in the market, where like it's in what single digit, like, but we are seeing till September or October, the market will be in full fledged, where a lot of companies have a demand, and they just need more and more components to run their operation.
Mhm.
But because of last 1.5 year, a lot of companies have cash flow issues because of the excess inventory, and their cash get stuck, because they already purchase the parts for 1.5 year, 2 years. They just give the advance PO to the distributors, and they sign the NCNRs. So once you sign the NCNR, you have to take the inventory, and once they take the inventory, then again without any production, or because of the slow demand, they cannot do the more production. So they have to stuck with the particular inventory, and then they have to carry it from one balance sheet to another balance sheet year. So there will be a financial stress also for this kind of companies. So EMS companies really they have a issues of inventory. But like recently it's changed, hence there will be a improvement in the production. And if you see the market trend, there will be a lot of change in the technology front, where a lot of product changes, product modification is happening. So because of that, the demands pick up slowly, and then there will be a demands coming up, and then there will be a liquidation on the production side for the inventories happening.
Yeah. Well, and so how does WindSource then help these companies? How do they help them with issues of excess inventory or even obsolescence that may develop in the time frame?
So WinSource, if anyone see our website, WinSource electronics website, so this website is very user-friendly website, and we have plenty of users which are coming to our website, and then they are just checking the inventory, and we have all the features like we can show the inventory, we can show the parts features, we can show the data sheet of the particular part over there. So WinSource, we have a very analytics tools. It's a very advanced analytics tools we have in-house. And once the any customer have the excess inventory issue or challenges, we can just take that inventory, we upload in our website, and then we can show to the global, like the people who need these parts. So anyone can come to our website, search the parts over there, and they get the, how much quantity is available over there. So because of this advanced technology, and because of the user friendly website, we are just liquidating the inventory of the EMS companies. So
So
we
let me make sure I understand what you said correctly, because that's interesting. So an EMS who has excess inventory, who's a customer of yours, right, can come to WindSource, and WindSource will take their excess inventory, post it on the WindSource site as searchable for other companies to come who may be looking for those types of parts. And then what, do you just broker the transaction, or does that happen? Those companies can connect then, or how do you become a platform for that exchange, right?
So we basically become, like we are not introducing that customer and the sources. So we will be the, if because a lot of transaction is happening in this way, where we have excess inventory, we are posting on the website, and then customer is coming, and then he find the stock over there, is just sending the request to our online sales assistants over there, and then the sales assistant just check with the purchasing team over there, and then they try to quote the parts and then win the order, so we ship it to the customer. So there will
Okay.
be a lot of queries are coming to our website, and if you see our global, like if you see our global ranking in
Yeah.
Google, so we are very much ahead. Like we if we our Google ranking is very very high compared to our competitors like catalog distributors.
Yeah.
So we are very much, connected to the technology, and we try to liquidate the inventory through our website in a maximum possible
Hmm.
way.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I don't mean to misrepresent what you're doing there, so I just wanted to be clear on that. So,
Yes.
and the issue of obsolescence, how does that get addressed?
So there will be a lot of companies are facing obsolete parts issues. So what we are doing, we are, like we have a very good sourcing for the obsoletes and hard to find parts. So we are sourcing that parts and then supporting to the customers. And the other way, we are giving the stocking facility. So any components, suppose the OEM or EMS get the notification of EOL from their authorized distributors, so we are just, stocking that parts in our warehouse for that customer for 1 year or 2 years, and then, based on the scheduled PO, we are just releasing the shipments to the customer. So I'll give one example to you. Suppose one medical company is there, and they have a very high value equipments for a medical, and after, like they are using one a part of NXP, and suddenly what happened, NXP send one notification to the customer that this part become EOL, or, last time buy in month of say August or September. Then customer cannot change the design overnight, because there will be a huge investment or R&D activities going on to change the design, and it's a very high value medical equipment, so you cannot change immediately. So in that case, uh, the customer will either come to the people who have a very good stocking facilities, who can just put the parts in their warehouse for a long time, and in return they charge some minimum fees from them, that stocking fees or operation fees, and then they are stocking the inventory, and then they are charging these fees, and they this way they can manage the obsolescence or obsolete parts, and they can hold the inventory for 2 years, 3 years, or even longer, 5 years also.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And just to be clear, currently WindSource does not have warehouses in India, right? Those are in China and the Philippines, I believe.
So currently we don't have any warehouse in India, but yeah, in future we are planning to do that once we have a very good customer base over here.
Mhm.
Recently we have a customer base, and we are try to penetrate more into that customers, and then try to get maximum business from them. So once we find it out, okay, we have like a lot of business from the India market, then we can set up a warehouse over here. But recently we are managing sales and purchasing activities from India location.
Okay.
So, yeah, but we have a warehouse in Shenzhen and Hong Kong and in Philippines, and we
Yes.
are planning to come up with the more warehouses.
Okay. Excellent. So it's an interesting time in the industry this year. If I'm thinking about EMS, when I talk to them, many of them in first quarter, especially, sales were down because of, everybody built a lot of products last year, right? That should,
Yeah.
with a lot of the component things. And I hear various forecasts from later this year, things getting better, some people pushing it into 2025. It's not going to get better. What's your outlook for the business of the component distribution for the remainder of this year and into next year?
So basically, if we see the trend for remaining this 2024 right now, as per the report, what I go through, so I see a lot of memory components are coming in the shortages. If you see the balance 2024 6 month, or whatever the balance months are there, there will be a 74% increase in the memory component sales, and there will be a 20% increase in the IC sale. So in this particular year, in 2024 and then coming 2025, we see a lot of growth in AI tools and other things like EVs and then 5G technologies, because right now AI is a common word we see across the industry. So right now, if we go to any industry, and like, if they want to improve, if we go to any laptop manufacturer, they want to improve, they want to put AI.
Mhm.
So the next improvement is AI. So a lot of companies are doing R&D works in terms of improve their products, and a lot of companies in automotive segment, they want to come to the EV, or they want to make their car better connected, or they want to assistance driver assistance system, where they are there it's a very like, they want to improve a lot. And if we see in the medical field, medical electronics, there will be a lot of things are going on. And renewables, where the energy segments, there will be a lot of things are happening. So there will be a multiple industry are in the like growing phase, or they are doing the R&D to come up with the better products.
Mhm.
So all these things are already in pipeline, and then once like already it's in progress. So we are seeing there will be a lot of changes will be happen in this year and next year. And once all this R&D and changes get into the mass production, so
Mhm.
there will be a huge demand, and like, there will be a huge mass production across the industries, and it will create a lot of shortages might be in the coming years.
Okay. I like your forecast. That's good. It's good optimism but it also speaks to I think where you're working and the industry, it's like I said at the beginning, India is quite the hot story right now. There's a lot going there. It's attracting a lot, and you know, with reshoring going on in the industry and things moving, I think India certainly has been one of the great beneficiaries of that. And more companies coming in, and probably in the years ahead, we'll see even more development there. I do speak to various Indian-based EMS companies, and their forecasts are all very positive for the next few years. So,
Yes,
good.
because right now, if you see, they get the support from the government, and there will be a change in the like if you see the geographical changes, or there will be a worldwide changes in the component side or manufacturing side. Lot of, because if we if 10 years back, if you talk about India, so we talk only about IT services, that India is
Right.
very good in IT services. No one is talking about manufacturing, or no one know, like in India, the electronic manufacturings are happening. And if you see the trend of the electronic manufacturing services like EMS companies, so in recently this 2 years, there will be a lot of companies which are get listed in the stock exchange. So a lot of companies, just they want to register in the stock exchange, and then they want to, like public, they want to go for a public for the shares. And there will be a lot of companies, they want to move their operation base to India. And they, because right now there will be first one is the population advantage. We have very highly skilled population in India. Second thing, right now from past 10 years, we are seeing the stable government. So there will be no change in the government policies also. Like once the government make one policy and there is no change in the government policy, that policy is carried forward from next 1 year to another year. And the current government is supporting a lot of manufacturing activities, and they are giving the PLI scheme, where they, like they are giving some kind of incentive to the companies which are starting their production unit. And
Mhm.
you can see the electronic clusters in India. Earlier this clusters was very much limited, but in the coming years, or in this 4 5 years, the trend is there is a lot of manufacturing clusters of electronics manufacturing across the India. And for the semiconductor manufacturing, because right now if we see, like till now India is doing very good R&D activities for the semiconductor research work. Like in India, there will be a lot of companies, they have R&D offices in India. But in current years, you see some production is happening for the semiconductor also, because there will be a huge investment going on in the market. And there is a lot of Indian companies, big companies, they are coming up with the fund, and then they are working with the government association, and then they are working with the, like industry association, and many people from the semiconductor industry, they are guiding the companies, government, like they are building the ecosystem for the semiconductor in India.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a great overview. Thank you very much. That was that was excellent. And it always impressed me with the incentives that India was putting forth for the industry over the past years. That part of that was also for went towards component manufacturing, right? So there's also, I think that's part of the story within India's emerging success, is the development within the component manufacturing industry within India that should be a real strength moving forward. So.
And
Good.
one thing, like I want to say, because right now we started India operation for the wind source, and this coming years we are seeing the lot of order we are processing for the R&D companies. Earlier, I didn't see this trend because the people go and buy from the online catalog distributors. But recent trend I am seeing, a lot of companies, R&D companies, especially they are choosing wind source electronics, and they are, placing the orders to us. So there will be a lot of like small quantity, but a lot of part size, we are getting a lot of orders now. So by this
Oh,
way we can predict that that market is really improving, and there is a lot of R&D activities is happening in the India.
that's very, yeah, excellent. That's always kind of a good kind of a leading indicator for things, isn't it? So that's fantastic. Um, Rakesh, I appreciate the time with you today. Your insights are excellent. It's always good to speak to somebody on the ground who's involved in this daily. Um, I think the audience will appreciate it as well. I will say, for those people who are interested, to connect with Rakesh. He is certainly, I checked his LinkedIn profile prior to the interview, and all of his contact information is on there. So certainly encourage people to reach out to him there. As he indicated, you can certainly check out their website too, which is very interactive and has a lot of information. Rakesh, I hope we can do this again sometime as business continues there to develop there in India for WindSource. And as the story of India emerges even more over the next few years, I think you're in a great place with a good company. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Thank you very much for your time, Eric, and I'll also look forward, to come again and talk with you on this platform. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. Take good care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.